Guys, we are on site today right here at the Grand Cayman. Very excited. Now you are next door to that's sand dunes to the left. It's a cool little restaurant right over there. Grand Dunes does have, as you can see here, a Starbucks coffee. And on the other side, across the street, you do have the Ocean Reef. That's the Ocean Reef right there. But we are today at the Grand Cayman, as you can see. Let's get inside. Very cool Starbucks. Can't wait to take you in there. They have like a legit full-on Starbucks. This is some of your parking for the parking deck. This place is very nice inside. Welcome to the Grand Cayman. You walk in, nice grand entrance. You have your Starbucks here. I can smell it already. It's hitting me. There's your front desk. Super cool and very, very nice. And of course, a nice restaurant right here. They have indoors, as you can see. Hi, good, how are you? We'll get to those amenities in the background in just a minute. There's your bar. Due south at 72nd. And then they have a nice little restaurant seating area. You can come in and get breakfast. It's right through these doors. And it's a great breakfast. Check this out, guys. Not bad. Super cool. Now there is, if you'll see through that glass, there's some amenities there with a water slide. But again, we'll get to those in just a little bit. Let's check out the Starbucks. Not many of these places, well, I mean, some of these places have Starbucks, but they don't have like full on-site Starbucks. As you can see here, it's a legit Starbucks right inside the Grand Cayman. All right, let's get into the unit. All right, guys, now the cool thing here is obviously there's some great on-site amenities, as you can see, which we'll get to in just a little bit. But the cool thing here is you can use all of the on-site amenities, and your guests can use all of the on-site amenities if you use off-site property management, if you manage it yourself. Now this right here, this is the gift shop here. Super cool, great for if last minute stuff, people forgot, they want to get floaties or souvenirs and things like that. Excellent to have at an oceanfront condo. Let's hop in the elevator. All right, guys, in today's video, I've got with me Richard Terzo of Cornerstone First Mortgage right here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Now, we're on site today over at the Grand Cayman in the Starbucks, one of the great on-site amenities of this oceanfront condo resort. Now, guys, we're gonna hop into all things seller financing straight away. So what is seller financing and how does it work in Myrtle Beach Oceanfront condos? Well, very simply put, seller financing is a transaction where the seller acts as the lender. Instead of the buyer securing a traditional mortgage from a bank, they make payments directly to the seller themselves over an agreed upon term. Now, the agreement typically includes a promissory note outlining the loan's terms, including the interest rate, repayment schedule, and consequences of default. Now, Richard Terzo, there are lots and lots, and there are lots and lots of reasons why it would not be wise to do seller financing. Let's just be honest, you're here as the bank offering another alternative, which
might be a little biased.
Yeah. We want to talk through those points now. Okay, so why would it not be wise for somebody to do a seller financing deal on an oceanfront condo?
Okay, well, excellent question. There are a few key points that we probably need to discuss that really differentiate between seller financing and getting a traditional mortgage. One of the most important and obvious ones would be the interest rates. In most cases, going traditional financing, you're going to have better options, more options to where you're going to have more flexibility. You're going to get just a better offer and better interest rates. When you're dealing with seller and seller financing, The seller is not in the business, probably doesn't have a lot of capital to put out there, and they're going to want a bigger return for their money. It's a bigger risk for them. So in most cases, a seller is going to require a much higher interest rate than a traditional bank would.
So let's kind of put that in terms of oceanfront condos. I've got investors wanting seller financing deals. What kind of interest rate do you think somebody would see typically on a seller financing deal on an oceanfront condo? Okay. Are we talking like 10%?
I would say at a minimum. It's up to the seller to really set those rates. So your rates could be 10, 12, 15, just depending on what that seller is going to require to put that money out there.
Wow, that's a pretty, now compared to your rate, you're talking about what, 8.25?
It depends on the type of situation, the program that we're going in. A lot of times with these condo hotels, I've got programs that right now are going down into the 7s.
Nice, into the 7s. And now you also do have a 15% down program on oceanfront condos, right?
I do.
Yeah, I know you do, which is a huge kicker, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. So all of you guys looking to do seller financing, hold tight, because
we're going to tease there, huh?
Yeah, we're going to show you how working with the bank can be advantageous for you. Now, something very quickly I want to point out, guys, is when you come off of the elevators here, immediately you'll see an entrance to both the parking deck and the units. Now, you can also go the opposite way to the left, but I did want to point out that the parking deck gives you easy access to several stories worth of units. So if someone's on the if somebody is self-managing, they can literally come right here, park. They don't even have to go to the front desk. They can walk right this way and come to their unit, put the code in the door, and they're on vacation. That simple and that easy for Airbnb self-managed investors or VRBO. Now we're going to head over to unit 664. It's coming up right here. Let's get in here and check it out. All right, so let's get inside of unit 664. Now guys, as soon as we walk in, you're going to notice that gorgeous contrasted color that matches the same color in the picture hanging above the bed. That's what you're aiming for to be in the top 5% of Airbnb listings. Now you'll see also that beautiful teal color and gorgeous LVP flooring gray. There's a closet to your left. There is a modern barnyard door, which is excellent. And again, that little bit of contrast goes a long way for your photos. Now, as soon as we come in here, you will notice it's a fully stocked refrigerator, gorgeous modern cabinets, great countertop, granite. You also notice a nice backsplash and a beautiful sink. You got a stove, microwave, and we've already passed the refrigerator. Now, as we come in here into the bathroom, you can see absolutely stunning, guys, granite here, and look at that tiled shower. Nice tub shower combo. That's going to show well on Airbnb. Now, as soon as you come into the main living area, again, you're going to notice a nice table with chairs, a modern light fixture. We've got that contrasted color in the picture on the wall and both throughout in the chairs and on the couch, and a huge accent wall. Flat screen TV, they're checking a lot of those boxes. Now you come out to the balcony. As you can see, you can basically see over to your neighbors. There is a building in front of you, and we can see over to our neighbors on the left. You do see some on-site amenities, which we'll get to in just a minute. And again, here down below us, more on-site amenities. You've got a peek of the ocean over there, and you've got a peek of the ocean over here. There are two things that you need when being successful on Airbnb self-managing your own unit. You need a decked out interior, much like this unit right here. A decked out interior, everything's modern, everything's new, everything's fancy. Or you need a great oceanfront view. Now this condo does not necessarily have a great oceanfront view. You can see that there's a building blocking the ocean. Okay, you got a little bit of ocean on one side over here. You've got a little bit of ocean on the other side over here, but you want to make sure that you are having either an excellent updated unit or an oceanfront view if you're going to rake in that gross rental income. And if you want to maximize gross rental income and get into the top 5%, then you want to have both. Now, one last thing I want to point out while we're in this unit here at the Grand Cayman, it has a Murphy bed. And if you utilize this sofa right here as a sleeper, we're talking about 2 people can sleep on this, 2 people can sleep on that Murphy bed, and then you have beds in the front room. Or in this instance, 1 bed, as you can see here. So that's a total of 6 people that can sleep this unit. The number of heads is going to increase the amount that you can charge to rent your oceanfront condo on Airbnb and VRBO. These are very, very important factors. Now, sometimes I see people take these Murphy beds out. They'll take that Murphy bed out. They will even go so far as to take that sofa out and they'll put 2 queen beds in here. So now it might be more attractive for, couples that want to rent a unit together and they have kids and they want to come for vacation. So they're going to go in together on a unit so they can save some of their vacation expense. That might be an excellent strategy and an excellent target market for your oceanfront condo on Airbnb and VRBO. Now, just a quick note, our peak season is April through September. That's when you're going to bring in the majority of your income. Now, the peak of the peak, June, July, and August, you should be bringing in enough income to cover all of your operating expenses for the year. If you don't believe me, check out the video with Matt Freeze, where he makes over $180,000 a year in profit on 8 oceanfront condos, and he has for the last 8 years. He spills the beans on it. You got to check that video out. Now, you can rent 12 months out of the year. Even in the off-season months, we get snowbirds and retirees that come, people that want to get out of the harsh cold weather. Our weather is one of the #1 perks as to why people rent oceanfront condos. Hands down, people move to our market for the weather. They want to be centrally located. They don't want to be as far down, the coast as Florida. They don't want to deal with the harsh humidity of Florida. And they can get that right here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. All right, guys, so your HOA fee is going to include electric in the common areas, water and sewer, trash pickup, elevator service, pool service, landscape lawn, insurance, your manager, your security, your rec facilities, legal and accounting, master antenna, cable TV, common maintenance area, electric in the unit, telephone service in the unit, internet access, and pest control.
All
right, so, lower interest rates, definitely.
Okay.
Now, what other reasons are there? Why else would an oceanfront condo investor want to go with a bank as opposed to doing seller financing?
Okay. The second thing that I can think of off the top of my head would be the length of the loan on the loan payments. Most of the time with seller financing, they are not going to carry a 30-year mortgage. They don't want that debt hanging out there. So usually it's a short term, something,
3 to 5 years.
Yeah. 3 to 5 years.
Generally, I will tell you, I see 3 to 5 years in oceanfront condos. A seller is not going to finance something longer than 5 years generally.
Yeah, exactly.
But most of the time, they are investors too. They want to get their money back and go ahead and move on to the next project.
Yep. So they're going to set it up with a balloon payment at the end of that, where at that point either you're going to end up having to sell the property, or you're going to end up having to get financing from a traditional lender anyway, and it could be more difficult at that time. So you don't know what 3 years is going to bring. You might want to get ahead of it and keep your options open, going ahead and paying for the traditional financing up front. Take advantage of it. Like I said, if you're going to get better interest rates, lower payments, and spread it out over 30 years, then why not go ahead and get it done up front instead of having to do it twice? Absolutely.
All right, guys, let's check out the on-site amenities right here at the Grand Cayman. As you can see, there is plenty to do. We got a huge lazy river. Very, very cool. There's a hot tub over there. I'll get over there in just a minute for you to see it. There's some fun over there to the left. Another pool out from under the cover. We got a tiki bar here, and that leads to the Turtle. Those stairs over there lead to the Turtle Bay. Let me just zoom in. Lead to the Turtle Bay Cafe, which they have a great deal on drinks from what I understand. Now here's your lazy river. And you can see in the center there is a nice little hot tub. It is boiling away. And then of course you have some really cool checkers, some life-size checkers and chess over here. And this is just some of the on-site amenities right here at Grand Cayman. Now, I do want to take you over to the Turtle Bay Cafe. I'm not sure if it's currently open, as well as the beach access and this little kiddie play area, which is super cool. There is another hot tub on the other side, way over here. Take a look. See that right there? That's a hot tub right there, guys. And then there's a great little kiddie play area right over here if you have little ones. As you can see, lots and lots of fun for the kiddos. And then you got another hot tub right here. Now let's get over, huge pool as you can see. Let's get over and check out Turtle Bay Cafe. Let's see if it's open. All right, guys, let's get into the Turtle Bay Cafe. As you can see here, super cool spot, great little place to eat, great little bar. And as you can see, some very cool drinks. People tell me the drinks are great here. It's like a good deal. You get some great food. And that's the Turtle Bay Cafe. And just real quick, guys, there is on-site laundry here at the Grand Cayman. All right, as you can see, there's a nice little area out here for laying out, plenty of tables and chairs. And I'm gonna get you over to your beach access. But first, take a quick look at Grand Cayman. Man, that place is beautiful. All right, let's get to the beach access. As you can see, showers here, and then you are on the beach, right where you want to be for vacation. Now, guys, we're in September, and as you can see, there is oceanfront demand. Let's just take a quick glance down this coast real quick. See the people there? People, as you can see. And let's zoom a little bit further on in. See if I can get you all the way down that coast more. See the people renting oceanfront condos. Lots and lots of umbrellas down that coast. Now, how is seller financing different from traditional mortgages? You know, in seller financing, the seller provides the loan rather than a bank or financial institution. Now, this can eliminate the lengthy approval process, which can be very, very attractive to some investors. You can get around that lengthy approval process. You can also avoid some of those strict qualification requirements of traditional mortgages. However, seller financing agreements often have that shorter repayment period, which we just discussed, and higher interest rates compared to bank loans. So, kind of walk us through, what is the lowest credit score that you're going to be able to get financed on a traditional, on lending for oceanfront condos, and, why is it advantageous for a seller to avoid doing seller financing if they're kind of facing some of these hurdles?
Okay, so if we're talking about oceanfront condos, which can, they can be warrantable, non-warrantable, they can be condotels, but let's keep the conversation towards non-warrantable and condotels, because I think that's what we see a lot.
We need to define that real quick, because there's a lot of investors that don't know what a non-warrantable condo is.
Okay. So with warrantable condos, that means the property is eligible for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac financing.
Which is cheaper, more conventional type
Not
financing.
necessarily. My non-QM products a lot of times will beat Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac products.
Oh, get out.
And they'll make the process a lot easier, but we'll get into that also. Honestly, like I said, I think...
a warrantable versus a non-warrantable.
Yeah.
What is a warrantable condo?
So again, warrantable condo meets all the criteria that Fannie Mac Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac set forth for condos and for properties to be eligible. So it's probably easier to let's talk about the things that disqualify them rather than all the things that do qualify.
Okay.
So if they don't qualify for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac financing, then they're considered non-warrantable. Those can be anything from the amount of investors in a building, the amount of properties still controlled by one entity. So if one person owns 10% of the units,
developer,
a lot of times with that. Same thing, new construction. If some of them aren't sold yet, typically you have to have at least 90% of them that have already, moved title into the buyer's hands. So if it's a new development that might not have happened yet. Things like litigation. Litigation is one of the biggest things that we run into. There's even smaller things such as budget reserves. If
they don't have enough.
It's a percentage that they look for that typically every condo's got to set aside 10% every year of their budget to go into reserves. And I've had ones be $400 short and not qualify for Fannie.
Can't get approved. And so, let's just backtrack real quick. So, what kind of lawsuits are you saying? Like the HOA is suing? Suing what? How does that pan out?
Well, there's a couple different ways that we see this happen on a regular basis. One of the more common ones is if the HOA is suing the previous developer or builder over defects, structurally. And, we get things from poor flashing to water leaks, window damage, things that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are going to want to see repaired prior to
writing a loan.
Writing a loan on it. They want to make sure the property is sound before they back somebody getting into that property, which is understandable.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's hone in on a Fannie Mae, a Freddie Mae. What are we looking at rate and down payment wise, which is a warrantable condo compared to a non-warrantable condo?
So if it's
that's what our investors want to know.
So if it's an investment property on a warrantable condo, you're probably looking at least 20% down.
Okay. On a non-warrantable?
Non-warrantable, we've got programs that we can go down as little as 15% down.
And upwards of what, 25%?
As much as anybody wants to
put
down. Yeah. 25% really becomes the norm that you see out there. Most investors are going to want 25%. It's going to open up a lot of different options for an investor where we can really start shopping different investors, different programs. So 25% is a great place to be. But if somebody doesn't have that 25%, there are options out there for them.
Sweet. So warrantable and non-warrantable condos, guys. Your oceanfront condos are generally, for the most part, going to be non-warrantable condos. And there's a little bit of different regulation that goes into the loans that are written on those, and it's a different loan type altogether.
It gets a little bit more complex than that, actually. And actually with non-warrantable condos, we can do 20% down if they're just non-warrantable. What we run into is a specific type of non-warrantable condos called condo hotels. Or condo hotels.
Hotel conversions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they're not necessarily even conversions. That's a whole nother subsect. It gets even more complicated.
But a simple way to say it is, these are oceanfront condos are hotels that have been converted into condominiums.
Well, they're
a lot of the time.
They're properties that look and feel and function like a hotel, but the units are owned by individual investors.
So they've got a front desk. You can call in and talk to somebody there.
Sometimes they don't, but yes. Front desk, amenities, restaurants, pools, that type of thing.
Yep.
Typically, one of the big things to look for is if the word hotel, motel, resort is in the title, or if you can Google them and find hotel ratings like on TripAdvisor or something, then you're going to be dealing with a condotel.
Yep, and a condotel is a non-warrantable condo, and sometimes, not always, carries a higher down payment and a higher interest rate when compared to a warrantable condo that might have a lower interest rate and a lower down payment.
Well, non-warrantables, I would say 20% comfortably. Condotels, 25% down would kind of be where you need to be. But again, We do have options where we can put less down.
15%?
Yeah, and I can
if you qualify.
And I can explain why that is because when you're dealing in the non-QM world, you're dealing with individual investors that set their own guidelines and rules on who they want to lend to.
Come on.
So, if you have a particular bank that is willing to take a higher risk on those properties and have a less down payment, then they're not backed by Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. There's nobody telling them what to do.
Their own rules.
It's their own money. They, If I wanted to loan you $10, nobody can tell me what the guidelines has to be. So they can set their own rules. So that's why you're going to see a lot of variance when it comes to guidelines, types of properties, everything. You may have a lender that will do 15% down, but require the property to have 800 square feet. Whereas you might have another lender that requires 25% down, but will go down to 400 square feet.
All right, so let's work through a cash purchase scenario right here at the Grand Cayman for a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom oceanfront condo. So your purchase price is $205,000. Your average gross rental income for 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom units between 2022 and 2023 was $40,863. Now, your 3% Airbnb platform fee is $1,225.89. When you subtract that from the $40,863 that you made in gross rental income, it brings you to a subtotal of $39,637.09. Now, taxes for this unit in 2023 were $2,205.96. Your cleaning services were $3,600. That's 30 cleanings at $120 per cleaning. Your excise tax. Now that is, that's a tax that anyone who owns and operates a business in Horry County has to pay. Essentially, it is a $145 base fee for your first $2,000 in gross rental income, and then $6 per thousand that you make in gross rental income after that. So for our purposes, the total was $373. Now you have a local hospitality and accommodations tax of $1,225.89. That is a 1.5% tax that goes to the city of Myrtle Beach and a 1.5% tax that's going to go to Horry County. Now, in addition to that tax, you will also have a 10% South Carolina state tax fee. However, that passes through to the guest on the Airbnb platform. Now, so your local hospitality and accommodations tax, let me just backtrack real quick, is a total of 3%. Again, that's 1.5 to the city, 1.5 to the county. That is $1,225.89. Now, your annualized HOA dues were $8,976, bringing you to a subtotal of $16,380.85. Now, when you subtract $16,380.85 from your subtotal up top of $39,637.09, it leaves you with a projected profitability of as much as $23,256.24. Wow, that is a lot of profitability for a cash investment. Your cash on cash return was 11% that you'd make on your money by investing in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom oceanfront condo that has average performance over 2022 and 2023. Now let's work through a financing scenario purchase. Again, that purchase price is $205,000. The down payment, we have you at 15%. That's $30,750. Yes, we have a lender. His name is Jason King, and he can and does have a 15% down program. When you talk to any of your other lenders, they're going to have a 20 to 25%, and most of the time, 25% down payment program when it comes to investing in an oceanfront condo. These oceanfront condos are considered condotels. They are hotels that were converted into condominiums. So there is a different financing plan that is used to finance oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You have to have a lender that has a plan that can finance it. You cannot use a conventional loan for these unless you were going to make it a primary residence, but that's a conversation for another time. Now, your average gross rental income from 2022 to 2023 was $40,863. Your property management, your Airbnb platform fee was 3% at $1,225.89. Again, bringing you to a subtotal of $39,637.09. Now, your principal and interest on this property was $15,732. That does assume a 7.9% interest rate over 30 years. Your taxes were $2,205.96. That's for 2023. And your cleaning services, again, were $3,600, 30 cleanings at $120 a cleaning. Your excise tax, again, was $373. Your local hospitality and accommodations tax was $1,225.89. And your annualized HOA dues were $8,976. Now, that brings you to a subtotal of $32,112.85. Now, if you subtract your $32,112.89 from your subtotal up top of $39,637, that's again post your 3% Airbnb platform fee, it does leave you with a projected profitability of as much as $7,524.24. Now, if you just increase this projected profitability by only $3,000, let's say you made an additional $3,000, you did a little bit better than that $40,000 like the high units did, then we're talking $10,524.24 in profit using the bank's money. And I've got to stress that to you guys. You're using the bank's money here, leaving you with a cash-on-cash return of as much as 34%. Now, how we calculate that cash-on-cash return with a financing deal is you only technically have $30,750 in the deal. You're using the bank's money. So we simply do a little bit of math there with the profitability of the unit and that $30,750, and you were left with a whopping 34% cash-on-cash return for your money, again, using the bank's money. Depreciation. Let's talk through depreciating your short-term vacation oceanfront condo rental. Now, short-term rentals can be depreciated over 39 years. And with a $205,000 purchase price, that gets you a taxable income deduction of as much as $5,256.41. Now, guys, for you high-income earners, you definitely want to talk to your CPA about doing a cost segregation study on your short-term vacation rental property. Cost segregation studies can enable you to write off as much as $15,000 to even $30,000 just in your first year of ownership, if that's what you choose to do. You can come up with various strategies with your CPA, maybe purchasing and selling a few different oceanfront condos, a few years of ownership in and out. You buy one, you own it for a year or two, you write off some depreciation, you sell it, you buy another, you do the same thing based on your personal financial situation. You will need to speak with your CPA and find out if that's a viable option and what kind of strategies you can employ, again, to maximize your own tax burden reduction. Let's talk through appreciation right here at the Grand Cayman. Guys, in 2014, if you'd have purchased a unit, you would have paid $92,500 for your average one-bedroom oceanfront unit. Now, fast forward to 2024, and guess what, guys? We're talking $222,000 on average they sell for. That is $129,500 in appreciation in only 10 years. Guys, that's about $13,000 a year in appreciation. Not to mention the profitability that you're going to make with it every single year. Not to mention, again, that's between $7,000 and $10,000. Not to mention the $10,000 tax deduction you can take for purchasing the property annually. Not to mention the cost segregation study you could do, saving anywhere between $15,000 and $30,000 to reduce your overall tax burden. Man, the benefits of investing in oceanfront condos are phenomenal.
Yeah, now you also bring up a very good point that comes to mind. And this is, whether you're doing seller financing or you're talking to Terzo here and he's going to get you a loan, using someone else's money on an investment is always going to get you a higher internal rate of a return or yield, on your investment. Anytime that and so viewing that seller financer or the bank as a partner in the deal is a healthy way to view it, which is why they also want you to jump through so many hurdles, because they're your partner. You know, they want to see a certain amount of documentation, they want to see stats, they want to see numbers. It's just like going into business with somebody. That lender is your partner on this deal, in this investment. So I don't know about you, but if I'm handing somebody $300,000, $400,000, $100,000, I'm going to want to see a certain credit score, trustworthiness. They're going to have to jump through some hoops if they're going to want to be in business with me on this investment. Now, again, coming out of pocket with less money, you know, only that down payment, as opposed to putting all that cash up front, it's a whole lot less risk on your part, and again, it gives you a higher yield, a higher return on investment. Now,
which is another advantage from seller financing versus traditional financing. The banks have deeper pockets than most of your sellers out there.
Yeah.
So with traditional financing, we're able to provide larger loan amounts. So, whereas a seller might do seller financing for $100,000, you know, if we've got a $500,000-$600,000 property, we're looking at, you know, traditional financing. You know, we're good. We can go up to $2 million, or, you know, in some products $3 million.
Nice.
Financing.
Exactly. So if you're looking to finance these larger luxury oceanfront condos, there you go.